So if you got the check engine light for Egr Valve insufficient flow P0400, then here's how you get rid of it. Unplug one of the terminals of the battery. Take out the intake duct by loosening these two screws. And don't forget, take out the vacuum hose that goes to the engine blockhead. Once the intake duct is out of the way, you can see inside that's the butterfly valve. Remove the 3 vacuum hoses on the top. The green one goes to the Egr valve system. Unscrew the 4 12mm bolts right here. Unplug the electrical connections. This is the ISE valve, held in place by 3 screws. You gotta take this out to gain more space. This is the plunger. It's not that much dirty, but it needs to be cleaned as well. This is the plunger that goes up and down to let more or less air to the engine during idling. Once we got the ISE valve out of the way, we have more space, and we use a 12mm offset socket wrench to unscrew these 4 bolts of the throttle body. Even after taking the 4 bolts, don't be too hasty because this wire harness is in the way. You go from the other side, maybe from the same side. There's a hook. It just needs to be pressed and it comes out right off, like so. Once we got the entire assembly out, we can see it more clearly. These are the 2 metal hoses that go to the coolant system to keep it nice and cool. And on the back side is the ports that needs to be really cleaned. Don't forget the gasket and to plug the intake manifold. On the other side, against the firewall, we have the Egr valve itself. It is held in place by 2 12mm bolts, and this is the vacuum hose that goes to the Egr solenoid valve. There is also a metal gasket in between. Take that out. This is the one I was talking about. We gotta clean it as well. So this is the Egr valve itself. We can see how dirty and nasty it has gotten. And these ports, one of them come from the exhaust and the other one goes to the intake. This is the vacuum hose, the connection from the vacuum hose to make the diaphragm goes up, and the stem of the valve goes up as well. So this is, you can see how clogged up it is with carbon. We need to clean it up. Otherwise it gets stuck open or stuck closed. This is the underside of the throttle body. We need to clean all those ports and any tiny holes that goes inside this throttle body. This is the inside of the ISE valve plunger. This is the metal gasket. And yeah, of course, don't forget the cleaner. It can be a throttle body cleaner or a good old carburetor cleaner. And just to clean out all the carbon deposits. While we're at it, why not clean the Pcb valve itself? It's plastic stuff, just jiggle it out and it will come right off. And you have to give it a nice shake, and if you hear a clicking sound, then it's good and nice. Otherwise you have to clean it or even replace it. So here's the Egr valve after cleaning. To check if it is working properly, just hold to the diaphragm with your finger and then plug the vacuum connection hose. And if it stays right here, then it's working just fine and you don't need to replace it. Let me show you. So I'm holding the vacuum hose and the stem of the valve's up. Once I release the pressure, it goes down. There you go. So before putting the Egr valve back into place, we need to clean the ports from the exhaust and the intake. These are really dirty right now. You can see the inside, the carbon deposits, maybe some gunk, so we need to clean that as well. After cleaning a little bit, I'm ready to put the metal gasket and then the Egr valve back in place. So here we go, everything is back in place, and just don't forget to plug the vacuum hose that goes to the Egr valve. So if you drive for a day or two and if it switches off, then maybe yes, you've fixed the problem. That is not always the case. You see, sometimes one of these vacuum hoses, the ports on the throttle body, gets clogged with carbon or something. Let me give you a real close-up of the vacuum ports on the throttle body. you see the one on the middle, which goes to the EGR system, has a very tiny hole, about 0.3 of a millimeter. That is very tiny, and you cannot even insert a common pin to clean it out. So you need something really smaller than that, maybe a safety wire or something that has a diameter of 0.3 millimeters. So you can clean it with a pressurized throttle body cleaner, and to check if the port is really open, you need to start your engine and spray some throttle body cleaner inside this port. And if the engine starts to stall, that means the cleaner has been sucked in through this vacuum port, and that's now open. So after that, you can generate vacuum pressure through this hose, and if these vacuum lines are clogged up, then no matter how much you clean the EGR or anything, you're not gonna get vacuum pressure to make the EGR valve open, and you cannot get rid of the P0400 code.